Hi guys. Right, as you can see, the incline's going to come through there, and then it's going to come around there, and then slowly but surely drop down, and eventually marry up to the new fiddle yard that I'm going to be building. So in this video, I'm concentrating on this end, and I've marked out the board, and I'll show you exactly what I'm up to. See you in a sec. Right, now what I've got here is the board, which is going to go up the other end underneath the TMD, up that end there. Okay, so what I've done, I'm using third radius curve, Hornby third radius curve, and this section here is just an add-on because this piece of board isn't actually wide enough, and then it comes out, and that will marry up where the incline comes down off the main baseboards. So what I've done is I've marked where the, excuse the shadow, I've marked where the track will be. Okay, and I've drilled holes 1, 2, 3 and 4, and that's going to be for my dropper wires for these pieces of track. Now, as you can see, this side over here, the track comes round, and it's coming round at an angle because these lines here are the timber which runs down the back of the baseboard. So it'll all become clear when I get it in position. Now the tracks are going to come round, and they're going to come onto another piece of ply, thin ply, and then marry up to the main strut where the track can then gently curve onto it and straight down the rest of the incline. So, but it will become clear when I get this board in place. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to solder on the droppers and get back to you shortly. Cheers for now. Right, for anyone who wants to know how I do my droppers, I get my 2 pieces of wire. So I always use black and red. Lots of people use many different colours, but I find black and red to be quite useful. And what I normally do, just nip the ends off. I don't know whether you can see there, 2 little ends. My wire cutters of choice are these Stanley Fat Max. Got them off the internet. There's so many different types, but what they do, they strip the wires like that. Very handy. So now what I do normally, I'll pop one into my little helping hand, as you can see, and then with my soldering iron and my solder. Now this is, I do believe, 40% lead, multi-core solder, 60% tin, 40% lead. So make sure that you're doing it in a well ventilated area. I have a Velux window which I've got open immediately above me, so so just go careful. Now what I do, I normally tin the ends, so I just get my soldering iron and warm up there, just like that, and then a little bit of solder on there. It flows quite nicely once it's warm. That's it. So it gives it a good head start. So now what I do is, these are the pieces of track. Obviously I said third radius. Now, I know that in the middle here, there's two plates there. Now, that's basically bottom of the track. And what I'll do, I normally get a bit of old sandpaper and just rough up where I'm going to solder. Okay. Just like that, just to help. It just helps the solder to stick, and you get a good contact then. You can use a little file, but I find that just roughing it up like that is more than adequate. Now, I always do black to back. Now, obviously, it's actually going to change, I do believe, when it gets round. Let me see. So back to black. Yes. So the black will actually change sides because of the way the route it's going. So, but what I'll do, I'll start off with this one first. I've got back to black. So the black will actually be on the inner track, because this is the as you're looking down the incline, this is going to be the first curve on that board I showed you earlier, and that's going to go on the inside, and it will turn out that by the time it gets around the back, it'll be black to front. So because it's doing a full circle. Okay, so it starts off like that coming down the incline. So effectively that's back to black. Okay, or back to black. Back to black. Yeah, black to back. That's it. And then once it gets around the full curve, the four pieces of track, it'll actually become black to the front, if that makes sense to you. So it does to me anyway. So hopefully you can make sense of that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn it over. So basically I want the black on the inner. And then what I'll do, let's get my soldering iron. Let's move that out of the way. I'll take the black one off. Okay. Heat up the track just for a couple of seconds. Pop a little bit of solder on there, and on the other side while I'm here. Little dollop. Now, as you can see, if I can get it in there, there's two pieces of solder. Okay, and they're ready to take both cables. As I said, make sure you do this in a well ventilated room. So now, the way I've drilled my holes through the board is in the centre. So effectively, I want to come from the outside in. Okay, and then the red will come that way. So both cables will feed from the centre straight down the hole that I've drilled in the board. So what I'll do is bend that slightly. So there's a little hook. And I'll pop the soldering iron on there. Take it off. Just leave it for a couple of seconds. And then what I'll do, that is nice and strong. Give it a good tug. Make sure that doesn't come off. So that's the black done. And now for the red. Do the same again. Bend the tip up. Okay. And heat that little bit of solder that you put on there. And don't forget you've also put the tinned the wire. So pop that on there. Heat that up. Let that set for a couple of seconds. Give it a good tug. That's not going anywhere. And there you have it. Two cables. Two dropper wires soldered on the bottom of the track. Okay, now what I tend to do, I get snips and just snip. Don't know whether you can see where the cable's just slightly bigger than the width of the track, and then we just snip them off wherever my snips have gone. That's it. If I can get in there. That's it. There's one. And there's two. It's just to neaten it up. You don't have to. You could actually make them a little bit smaller if you wanted. So there you are. And that is how I do my dropper wires. And that will become standard right the way around on every piece of track which goes down, which will be going down to the fiddle yard. So so yeah. So I'll catch up with you soon. Cheers. Bye. Right, as you can see, I've got the track down with gaps in the middle, just for expansion. Here is the dropper wires, and that goes for each individual piece. Sorry, and on the underside, what I've done is all the track feeds come up, and they come into these Wago blocks, or W-A-G-O, Wago blocks, and then the last one here will be a cable from there to the bus wire. So I thought I'd do it like that because it's going to be very awkward to wire up from underneath. So if it's all ready and to go, all I have to do is literally do one wire from there and from there to the bus wire, and everything should work. So I'll get this in place, and we'll pick it up a bit later on. Cheers. Right, I've got that end piece in. I've got track all the way up, right the way up the incline. It's a bit crudely wired at the moment, but that'll all get sorted. But this is just a test. So I've got the LEDs underneath to give us some light. So here we go. She seems quite happy coming up. No problem at all. And there she goes. Right. What I've now got to do is, excuse the wobbly camera, over the back there. It's got to drop nicely down. As I said in the previous video, that bit of extra track which was overhanging the beam has now got a little piece, so it transitions from one board to the beam, and the locos will run gradually downhill on top of that beam to what will become the new fiddle yard. So I think it's all good. So thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.